Namo Namaha, Masters around the world, and welcome to 10th episode of Quantum Life series with the sure blessings of Brahmarishi Pitamha Patriji and Dr. Sangeeta Nehra ma'am. We are here in front of you representing this Quantum Life series. So let us start with our today's episode of Quantum Life series, episode 10. Each of you now know that quantum life is a life lived in the primacy of consciousness with full awareness about the surroundings and ourselves. So every deed of ours has an impact. Either it can be a good impact or a bad impact, depending upon our deed, how much what kind of intention we have on environment as well as ourselves. So we have to be very conscious about our deeds, our intentions. They should be pure because it is with due to this beautiful perspective of this life, we have to be working along with it in a particular manner. So this quantum life series, we have with this series we have done an effort to make you aware about a proper lifestyle for to be followed for a better health, and health by which I mean physical, mental, social, spiritual, every kind of health. So, as to get our soul developed, because in this life we have came for the development of our soul with the beautiful experiences that we have chosen for ourselves. And we this quantum life has actually will help in getting us that target, that soul development. So we have to first be aware about what is this quantum life. And this quantum life has three attributes: Ayurveda, quantum, and pyramid. So let us start with the first attribute, which is Ayurveda. And I would like to invite Dr. Ishita Chugh for please give her presentation on awareing us about the rejuvenating drugs or Rasayana explained in Ayurveda.
A very warm good evening to all the beautiful souls out there. Let me first introduce myself. I am Ishita Chugh, student of BMS final year. Today I feel highly privileged to make you people know about Rasayana. Actually, Ayurveda is the science of life. It is the one of the oldest documented arrangement of medicine developed from Vedas. Every single person wants a healthy and full term life. But why they want healthy and full term life? What is its importance? Every creature in this world want to live longer with healthy life. In this world and beyond this world, the person of this earth try to search three essential things. One is wish to exist, second one is wish to earn, and third one is wish to carry goods act. Out of three wishes, one must give main attention to the wish for prolonged existence. Because with the end of life, there is end of whole thing. The prolonged existence of a person may be achieved by adopting the rules proposed for healthy person and by giving proper intention to the treatment of diseases. The second important wish of human being is for wealth. Living on this earth without money is the most adverse condition of the life. One should attempt to strike the different resources of the wealth. The probable resource of wealth described by text would be farming, cattle proliferation, business, government services, etc. One can accept any means of occupation. Adopting any one of them, a person can prolong his existence. Then, the third desire is to achieve the state of moksha or salvation. Moksha is the complete disconnection of all the contexts of a person due to absence of rajas and tamas in the mind and total destruction of effect of past action. This is the condition after which there is no additional contact of a person by any means. Achievement of wealth, fulfillment of desire, and final liberation completely depend on excellent health. Disease are demolisher of health, well-being and life. One should safeguard his body by discouraging everything in life, because if there is nobody, then there is nothing to achieve for a person. Considering all this in mind, Acharya Charak says that a wise person must be attentive toward his own body, like an officer of town towards the town, respectively. A person should always be attentive for his body requirement, whether it is external or internal. So, for these three mentioned purpose, healthy body in all aspect is mandatory. And for healthy body, Rasayan plays a vital role. As I previously mentioned, I am going to talk about Rasayan. And now, Rasayan seems too important. So, question is, what is Rasayan? The Rasayan. The word Rasayan is derived from two words. One is Ras and second is Ayan. The different meaning are used for the word Ras and Ayan are following. Ras means first dhatu of body. Second is sense of taste perceived by tongue. Third is nutritional fluid in the body. Fourth one is Parat. It has property to demolish aging and death and have property to assimilate different metals. Fourth is Swaras, one of the 5 Ayurvedic pharmaceutical procedure. Next one is Ayan. Ayan also have different meanings. One is Gyan, that is awareness. Gaman, that is progression. Third is Prapti, that is acceptance. In Ayurveda, the literary meaning of Ayan are nourishment, Upay means method, Marg means pathway. Rasayan drugs have property to raise potency and nourishment of all the cells, and this can be achieved only by the ras, which has quality of regular movement. So now let me share my screen. Ancient treatises of Ayurveda have been generally classified into two groups, the Brihatrayi and the Laghotrayi. Brihatrayi is the great in respect of their writer and innovation. Laghotrayi is the work of later author. All of them describe about Rasayan drugs, its properties, its utility and method of using. Ayurvedic system of medicine is perhaps the first which efforts to shield life of human being from ailment and aging. Rasayan Tantra is one of the 8 most important clinical branch of Ashtanga Ayurveda, and this is completely committed to study of aging and its prevention. Ayurveda has two main approaches regarding to the health of a person. First, to preserve the healthy condition of a person, and second, to treat the illness of person. Acharya Charak divide the medicines into two types. First type of medicine are those which keep up the healthy condition as Rasayan and Vajikaran, or you can say rejuvenating drugs. And second are those by which we can achieve healthy state of a person after treating different ailment. The approach of Rasayan treatment was basically used for maintenance of health of a healthy person, but it can also be used to treat different diseases. Moving to the next slide, let me explain a little about rejuvenating drugs or Rasayan. Rasayanas are the drugs by which we can obtain the most favorable nourishment to dhatus. Shushruta explained about Rasayan as the drug which used for maintenance of age, improvement of intelligence and strength, and for elimination of diseases or continue healthy lifespan with the property described in the different span of life and up to 100 years, and that is the normal estimated life of a human being. Acharya Shushruta explained the Rasayan drugs which helps to achieve 3 types of action. Number 1 is protect youthfulness and avoid senility. Second is encourage lifespan, intellect and potency. And third is check and cure diseases. Acharya Bhav Prakash extend the definition of Rasayan to cover a much broader field. He defines Rasayan as the therapy that lightens diseases and stabilizes youth. Next is, what is the need of Rasayan? What is the need of rejuvenating drugs? Obviously, as I previously mentioned, to improve the intelligence and strength, and for elimination of diseases, to continue healthy lifespan, check and cure diseases, encourage lifespan, intellect and property, and potency of the drugs. Next is need. As we all know, cell death in body is possible due to various factors leading to physical, metabolic and psychological impairment. Thus, setting foundation of various elements with rejuvenating drugs or Rasayan therapy, it is possible to prevent or delay this damage. The possible mechanism of action is that nourishes and maintenance of cell life. Second is encourages the growth of new cells. Third is prevent recurrent infection, expelling the damaged cell from body. Fourth one is elimination the toxic metabolites and pollutants. And next is maintain the balance between mind and body. Rasayan drugs or rejuvenating drugs act at the subcellular level. Moving to next is what is the mode of action of rejuvenating drugs, or you can say the pharmacodynamics of rejuvenating drugs. So, pharmacological action of Rasayan is also not described well by acharyas, but on the basis of different pharmacological actions of drugs, we can conclude that it is compound phenomenon functioning through a widespread method promoting the essential physiological factors like proper formation and circulation of anna, ras and dhatus, maintenance of normal status of agni and normal anatomy of strotas, or you can say microchannels. Ras dhatu supports the various tissues and responsible for the normal formation of other dhatus. Number of medicine perform these role by elevating the rasa dhatu in ideal method. The nutrient fraction of rasa provide nourishment to rakt, that of rakt or to mans, that of mans to med, and that of med to asthi, that of asthi to majja, and the nutrient fraction of majja provide nourishment to shukra. The example of such medicines are shatavari, dugdh, grit. Many Rasayan drugs are also performed at the level of Agni and stimulates the metabolism process. A better metabolism process in a person make a better way for the formation of superior structural and functional form of dhatus. There are a lot of drugs that are available that help in improving Agni as Pipali, Chitrak. It is also said by acharyas that proper effect of Rasayan drug is not achieved in a person who has reduced digestive fire. It is just like help done to an unthankful man. The Rasayan drug administered in small quantity to a person who has intense digestive fire become more effective just as source of enjoyment given to the justified person. Many Rasayan drugs can enhance the performance of the strotansi and helps in circulation of nutritious material up to the maximum terminal part of body. Microchannels are accountable for carriage of nutrients. Any hindrance in these channels will slow the progression of nourishment and manifest many diseases. By cleansing up the microscopic channel, Srotoshodhak Rasayan establish a better circulation in the body and better perfusions to cell. Guglu is established an example of these type of Rasayan. As we get almost all about rejuvenating drugs. So now question is who can use these drugs? Means indications of rejuvenating treatment or Rasayan treatment. Although Rasayan is a treatment procedure that enhances healthy lifespan and mental faculties, but it cannot be administered to all the individual. Persons who are capable bodied, whose body are free from illness, who are gifted with mental power, who are self controlled, who have enough time and who have sufficient wealth and perfect for all the type of treatment for rejuvenating therapy. According to Ashtang Hriday, the individual who speaks the fact, who does not become annoyed, who engage his sense organ in search of knowledge of soul, etc., who is peaceful and who always indulged in good conduct, only must be considered as receiving Nitya Rasayan. or daily rejuvenating drugs. Rasayan therapy generate properties in the individual whose mind and bodies are uncontaminated and who are self-control. Ideal use Ideal use of Rasayan should be started before onset of old age, but one can start the practice of the same at any age. For maximum benefit of same biopurification of body should be achieved. Selective Rasayan can be used for selective benefit. As we discuss about indications of rejuvenating drugs, so as they are indicated, so there are maybe there are some which are contraindicated for this therapy. So answer is yes, there are many contraindications. So there are lot of contraindications also described in Ayurveda about the Rasayan treatment, because Rasayan treatment is a sophisticated therapy which need trust, patience, time, wealth, and proper management. The physician is forbidden to tell anything about Rasayan therapy to that person who is not free from ailment, who is not dvijatiya, and who has no trust in this therapy. According to Acharya Charak, the person who are not free from the mental and physical defect, they will never achieve the consequences of rejuvenation treatment. Acharya should describe 7 types of individuals who is not competent to use Rasayan therapies, and they are: number 1, devoid of self discipline. Next is lazy person. Next one is poor person. Next is careless person, addict person, sinful person, and unwilling for medications. Acharya Shushrut also described the 7 causes that delay the achievement in Rasayan therapy. And these are: number 1 is unawareness. Second is lack of initiative. Next is uncertainty of mind, poverty, dependence, lack of self control, unrightness, inability of drugs. So, I hope you get my points about rejuvenating drugs. So, if we brief today's session, firstly we learn what is Rasayan, its etymology, and why it is required. Obviously, for leading a full and healthy body. Thus, the thought of Rasayan covered the useful effect of structural, physiological, social, as well as mental function of human body in healthy state and in diseased condition. Thus, these Rasayan drugs can help to prevent the randomly happening cell injury, either by quickly restoring the normal cell function or either by improving the work of endogenous protective mechanism or by itself working as a protective mechanism. In further sessions, we will discuss about single drugs as Rasayan and how they act. But for now, I would like to invite charming, energetic, and aesthetic Monika Ghangas for quantum sessions. Thank you.
Hello to all the beautiful people. Let's start the new step towards the quantum consciousness. Now, today's topic is quantum creativity practices. So, how we can achieve that level of creativity within us, which is somewhere lost in ourselves. Let's catch that creativity. In this session, we will discuss about the 8 practices. 7 practices are mentioned by Dr. Amit Goswami in his book Quantum Doctor. Now I will tell you one more practices that I feel should be included in this quantum practices. So let's take a little step. Let's start with slide 1. Slide 1. So, in today's topic, we will discuss about the quantum creativity practices. So, as told by Dr. Amit Goswami sir, there are 7 practices that are mentioned in the Quantum Doctor's book. So, when we discuss about the quantum creativity practices, so how these 7 practices will help us to conquer that what within us is missing, that creativity is missing inside us, and these practices will help to recognize those lost activities. So this will help us to groove ourselves to a new phase. So let's move on to slide second to know about what is quantum. So first we need to know about why we are discussing this quantum creativity practices. So we need to understand one by one the meaning of these terms. So as I told you earlier that a quantum, in a simple way, when you understand this quantum, you can imagine two bodies. The bodies which are transferring each other some packets of energy. For example, I am in a level of transferring a energy of higher frequency. I will transfer that to another person who wants to receive that frequency, that energy of that particular frequency. So there is a correlation between these two bodies. So that is the meaning of quantum. So let's move on to slide third. So in the third slide, let's consider 7 practices. These 7 practices are: first, intention setting; second, slowing down; third, concentration; fourth, do be do; and fifth, imagination and dreaming. The most important one among them is imagination and dreaming. Then sixth one, working with Johanian archetype and creative positive emotional brain circuits. And seventh, remembering your dharma. So these practices only you need to focus on yourself, and you need to remember this thing that you only can understand these 7 practices when you are away from your ego self. If you have those egoistic thing in your head, because for full of a mind full of ideas cannot be filled with another idea, because when we pour a cup a, a tea in a cup, if it was filled to the top, then and then the amount which we are filling again and again the cup, that will come out of the cup randomly. So that means that there is a capacity of that cup. So when we understand about that, we need to understand these new practices, we need to understand, or we need to have that potential inside us to get that knowledge from these 7 practices. So we will only learn this when we are ego free. When a person is ego free, then we should have that sattva guna, or the purification. We must be a purified person at that time. We must be seeking for the knowledge, the seeking for the goodness. So let's start one by one these practices. So the first practices is the practice of intention setting. For example, when we start something, we need to have a particular intention. So relax your mind. These have almost 4 stages. So in the first one, sit comfortably, engage your body awareness, exercise to banish your tension. So become aware of your toe. Let's start from the toe, then knees, then leg, and then arms, neck, head. Let's have the awareness of all these body parts. So without the awareness, we cannot go further on the second stage. So the second stage is recognize that you can have an intent in 2 ways. You can have it all for yourself in such a way, or you can have it all for everyone. So enjoy the fruit of intention, later expanding the intention to everyone. Let's consider it as a happiness moment for all the universe, not for yourself only. So in the third stage, let's your intention gradually become a prayer, the prayer that comes from your heart. So in the fourth stage, then the prayer allow the prayerful mind to become silent or meditative. So that's where this fourth stage achieved. So let's move on to slide fifth, which is all about the practices of slowing down. Once the mind is full, once you want to learn something, you are meditative stage. So there is a good example of Buddhist and Jain in India. So there were two artists that are competing for the king's favor. So one artist has filled one wall of art gallery with the stories of king winning his throne and all those things that will please the king. So the king told the asked the second artist that how will you compete him or how you can beat this. So the second artist say I can't. So I have painted exactly the same thing. The artist replies. So when king goes to the second wall, he sees that it was the exact wall paintings that he have seen in the first wall. So now the king asked that how can you create such a magic? How can you do such a amazing thing that both the walls are same? So the artist told him that it's not amazing thing because it's the mirror, it's the reflection of the first wall only in my wall. So from all this situation, a there is a beautiful thing explained that a mirror conveys what you are showing in that mirror, that epicates who you are. Can our mind space be really empty? Of course not. There is something going on in our mind. But slowing down your mind by meditative practices for cultivating the beginner's mind, it's just like a cloud floating in the sky. So just practice the choiceless awareness like 15 to 20 minutes a day. Don't overdo, or at least begin in the beginning. Since the awareness does not takes place in the isolation, we just need to settle down our physical body and settle down the physical organisms or physical organs of our body to correlate with that energy field. So let's move on to the next slide. So the next slide is the practice of concentration, awareness, and meditation. So in this slide, there are few examples that how the noblest or how the great personalities are so engaged in their work or so concentrated on their work that they don't have the awareness of the surrounding environment. For example, once Indian physicist Meghanand Shah, while working on his problem of astrophysics, as he walked a door inside a room, and he encountered a boy and conversed with him. So he was very happy with this conversation, and upon returning to the home, he told his wife about that pleasant interaction. And you are surprised to know that his wife patiently reminded him that the boy was his own son. So from this example you can understand that he was so engaged in his work, that he don't have that awareness of the surrounding object. So that's we call a concentrative meditation. So when we do that with the consciousness, and we have that concentration, that something going around our body, outside our body, is not in our senses. So that is the concentration meditation, where your attention for almost 15 to 20 minutes a day only on your meditation, only on your breath. So in Sanskrit it is also known as a japa. So, in the next slide, there are some more examples of the same thing, and there is a relation of that with the brain, or the activities of the brain, that how the brain works. So, these all comes in this practices. So, in the next in the next slide, the practice of do. So this is interesting practices. So I want to share one example, or one incidence of life of Dr. Amit Goswami sir's life. The incidents he mentioned, that I he practices japa, the concentrative meditation, for 7 days, and he used to chant some mantras, or he in his mind. So we do again and again repeated those mantras. So he described his experience this way, that on November morning, he was sitting on a chair in his office and doing this japa. But after 6 days, on the 7 days of his starting, then he have a lot of energy left. So after an hour of job, he have a urge to walk outside the office. So he walked out of the office, and then out of the building, across the street, and he seems he believed that at that moment it was like the universe is welcoming him, the universe opened up to him. So it seems like the universe wants him to be come to him, and have all that energy and all the frequency. Let's match that frequency with us. So this is a state we all can call it as the ananda stage, or the bliss stage. So he told about this, that I am, when he feels I am, he also feels I am you. I am one with the whole world. The whole world is the depiction of me, and I am the depiction of the whole world. So this terms explains that the practicing the presence of love. So these are the few practices we have discussed today, and I hope you all have enjoyed this, and these practices have come in a different manner to you, and have a good impact on your mind. We will again continue these practices in the next session also. And now, understanding these practices, even I concluded it for myself, that it's very important. It's very important to be sit comfortable, and then to achieve these first four stages, then go back to the stage of slowing down, because due to overactivity of our physical body or physical organs, there are so many complications, so many uh, disturbance in our physical, mental, and vital and spiritual body happening. So it's very important to slow down. So this is the end of the session. I hope you guys enjoy these practices. In the next session, the left out practices we will discuss. We will have this creativity in us. Let's hope for the best. And now I will like to call Dr. Khyati ma'am to discuss about the pyramid. So please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monica, for beautifully explaining the quantum creativity practices. Let us now start with our third attribute, that is the pyramid. So let me share my PPT. So the pyramid. What is a pyramid? Pyramid, as we all know, is made up of two words, para and mid. Para means fire or energy, and mid means in the center or middle. So comprisingly, pyramid means the energy in the center or energy within. As you can see in this picture, that this is the shape of a pyramid. And a pyramid is a structure or monument, usually with a quadrilateral base, which rises to a triangular point. As you can see, this quadrilateral base, and it is rising to this triangular one point, and this is called its apex. A pyramid with its apex being the central singular point for receiving energy becomes the most symmetrical of all structures with the maximum capacity to receive energy. Hence, they are called the storehouses of energy. This apex, we are watching this apex, receives the abundant energy present in the universe. And by this energy of universe only, this pyramid helps to increase the positivity or positive energy around the world and give its benefits to human as well as animals as well as plants and to the non-living things also. But how is it possible? It is possible because of this golden angle of 51 degree and 52 minutes. This angle is specifically for the Earth. Every planet in the solar system has their own pyramids with a different angle. And for this Earth, the angle is of 51 degree and 52 minutes. And this is a very, very important angle because if this angle is not, while constructing a pyramid, you have not kept this angle particularly, then that benefit of the energy transformation will not be received by you. So you should be very careful about this angle. And there is a particular calculation aspect also, which we will be discussing in later stages also, about how to make this perfect angle. And the king's chamber. As I told you that the apex is the is the place from where whole of the energy is received. So this king's chamber is the place which is the height of king chamber is the base into 1/3 of the pyramid. What happens is that when the apex receives the energy, it is being transferred to the center. And at the king's chamber, you can find the maximum amount of energy. If you can see in the picture, this is the Kirlian photography of a pyramid, and this is the king's chamber of the pyramid, from where you can see this energy is coming here, and you have the abundant amount of maximum amount of energy is collected here. So while meditating in a pyramid, you will feel at this point all of the energy is getting inside you. So whenever you put up a pyramid cap also, that king's chamber, your head is totally in the vicinity of that chamber. That's why you feel the benefit, the peace of the pyramid. So today's topic is the scientific researches on pyramid. As we know that we are continuously learning about these scientific researches that have been done. In previous episodes, we have learned about the experiments done by Dr. G. Patrick Frank and researchers in his book Pyramid Power, the Millennium Science. Today also we will be discussing the same book, experiments, some more experiments mentioned and done by Dr. G. Patrick Franklin research. So, as I told you that galvanic skin response, GSR, this galvanic skin response is done by has been used in assessing the movements or the resistance powers of the plants and other humans also. But this galvanic skin response is something that has been used to understand the behavior of plant inside the pyramid. The normal, let us learn how it has been managed or placed with the plants. So if you can see this picture, this is the apparatus of galvanic skin galvanometer that has been used, and these electrodes have been used on the leaf which is attached to the plant only, and a stand has been made so that the plant do not get burden, or the leaf do not get burden. The normal electrode arrangement for plant is by the means of German silver electrodes. This electrodes should be clean with paper before every use. The plant leaf should be free of dust. The electrodes may be held in the place by means of alligator clips. The stand and flexible wire arrangements are necessary to prevent the stress on leaf. The small probe type electrodes have been tried with some gratifying results, but these have to be tested some more for better results. The theory of using the small electrodes is to trace the plant's acupuncture points. Now you will be astonished that do plants have the acupuncture points? Of course they have. The plants exhibit many different characteristics of change. They appear to sleep at times and are very active at other times. With this GSR or galvanic skin response, Dr. Patrick has understood that plants show different kind of responses. In the book, The Secret Life of Plants, also, Peter Tompkins and Christopher Bird, they have also mentioned about this GSR, galvanic skin response. And with that, they found that plants also have a life. They also can feel, they also can have the fear, feel the happiness. They also sleep, they also wake up. So the main results are recognized as a very change of the resistance, a lowering when a pyramid is placed over the plant. There is always a resistance. If we go to a plant, they actually get sometimes a resistance. So when a plant is kept inside a pyramid, this change of resistance was lowered and plant was much relaxed. And what kind of pyramids were used? Plexiglass, clear plexiglass pyramids were used. And also the opaque cardboard was also used. The instantaneous changes occur under any type of pyramid, because the angle should be the particular perfect. Any kind of pyramid can work. And an attempt to correlate change in resistance with strength of energy is somewhat successful. He found this experiment successful in this terms of resistance changes, range in resistance, and with the strength of energy. But there are no changes while the plant is sleeping. And you can easily tell that plant is sleeping or it is not sleeping with the meter. When the plant is responsive and not sleeping, there is a relaxation rate of change. That is a continuous, slow, sometimes fast change of resistance. Basically, when it was a response, when the plant was responsive, there was a real continuous slow change of relaxation change was there. Change in the environment, another person coming into the room, change in the color of illumination, loud noise, all affect the plants. And we have learned this also in the book, The Secret Life of Plants. Even the thoughts of the researchers have effects. At times, the plant appeared to be oscillating with the heartbeat of the investigator. Can you imagine this? Controls were made by lowering a plexiglass cube over the plant. In case of the equal volume cube, no changes were observed as they were with the pyramid. As I told you that Dr. Patrick has kept a control also, so he also made a plant sit inside a plexiglass cube, a plexiglass pyramid and a plexiglass cube, but there was no change in the plexiglass cube as it was in the pyramid. So that was a clear-cut indication of the fact that pyramids impact the plants also. So on human subjects, subjective reports were done and several hundred people have sit in 6 foot base plastic pyramids. The tests were first run on the friends who were asked to sit in pyramid for half an hour and then asked to describe the feelings when they were in the structure. And the subjects were given no indication of what to expect. So basically, some of his friends were known. He asked them to sit inside a pyramid for half hour and no indication was given. Just he asked to sit for half hour and then tell what you felt. In all cases, the subject reported intense heat in the body and a tingling sensation in hands. So the pyramids were then ventilated with large holes, because it can be due to this suffocation. But even with the large holes in the sides, they still reported the intense feeling of heat. What is that heat? It is the energy going inside the human body through the pyramid. This is how you will feel the positive energy of pyramid inside you when you sit inside it. And then if you meditate, it's a bliss. A number of people decided that they wanted pyramids of their own after this. Dr. Patrick says that his own body energy has increased since he began sleeping in the pyramid tent. An effort reported by many is a sense of time distortion. Now, how is that? This effect of time distortion has been reported by many of the people. Even when we learn from the experiences of different masters, we know that they do not understand that how much time has been passed. One subject sat in the pyramid for 4 hours and had a subjective impression that half hour has passed. It had been stated by the alpha researchers that a person in the alpha state loses all sense of time and space. This correlates with the observed alpha activity in the pyramid. So there is an alpha activity in the pyramid, all of the energy is there, and you lose the senses of time and space, and that's when you start having the bliss, you start having the introspection and about getting knowledge about the universe and start getting healed specifically. So meditation, many of the subjects were interested in psychic phenomena and practiced various forms of meditation. All the subjects who practice meditation have reported a significant increase in the effects of meditation in the pyramid. So that is why Patri sir has said to make this world a pyramid world. Use pyramid for meditation. That's an important thing. It's really needed. So now it's about the water treatment. As I have also told before, water has been treated by Dr. Patrick Flanagan, and many experiments have been done. So now the water may be treated he has said that the water may be treated in several ways. It may be placed in a pyramid, in a container for a period of time, depending on the size of the pyramid and the amount of the water treated. Of course, you can keep it in a glass, you can keep it in a pot, you can keep it over your fridge, you can do whatever according to the size of the pyramid. Dr. Patrick used a 2-foot base pyramid and treated a quart bottle for half hour. And another technique is to run water into spiral coil placed in the pyramid and fashioned into a form of fountain. You can with this pyramid water, pyramidized water has a amazing properties, amazing kind of healing properties have is with this pyramid water. And also when you drink the water charged by the um, pyramid energy, you feel much relaxed, much happy, and much healed. It can also heal the wounds. If you regularly take bath with that pyramidized water, it will also give you a immense relief. So you can also use it as a fountain. Speaking of water tests were run on the taste of regular city water treated in the pyramid. So on a big level, he treated the city water with the pyramid. The water used to water the plants, and also uh, the water which is used to water the plants was also tested. All people who made the test noticed the pyramid water tasted fresher and had less of chemicals or chlorine taste than the water which was untreated. They have people who taken the test of this pyramid water, they have felt the change in the taste. They felt that the water was much fresher, and this is we need, because we all know that we are running from the water scarcity, and whole of the water just gets polluted. This can help us to stop polluting the water, or lessen, at least not stop, but at least to lessen the water pollution. So now the effects on food. He has Dr. Patrick has also done experiments on food items as a change of taste and everything. As you know, the sprouts have been tested by the by Dr. Patrick. So short-term effects on foods or change of taste. During his original test on mummification of food, he was testing on the mummification of the food, because we all know that pyramids, inside the pyramids of Giza, mummies are there. Mummies of the whole pharaohs, of the old pharaohs of at that time, they all have been kept there. So he tested on the mummification of food, and he used to taste the food being treated to make sure that they were really good. Test was going on, but he deliberately tasted that food to know that if it is really good or not. Although there was no sign of decay, he wanted to show how the food tasted as it was undergoing the process of mummification, because he wanted to feel that experience, get that experience, that how it tastes. What he found was that not only did the food tasted good, they rather tasted better than they did before they were placed in the structure. Now, this is something very, very, very different, that you brought something fresh, okay? You tasted it. Then you kept it in a pyramid. And while during it was inside the pyramid, and then for much time, and you tasted that, and it was found much more better than even you brought it fresh. He was so impressed by this new discovery that he began a series of double-blind tests on the change of taste in food, and he used several dozen people for that. That test was conducted as follows: the foods were all taken from the same source, so that there is no differentiation. He has used one source only for taking the food. That is, the food tested were the same food divided in half so that the control would be same as that treated sample except for the treatment, because same source food he brought, and then he kept it into half, and half was treated with pyramid, half was untreated, and kept it as a control. The samples were then placed in paper cups with the numbers on the bottoms. The cups were then divided and recorded in a master file. The ones chosen for the pyramid were then treated for 5 minutes in the pyramid. Only for 5 minutes he kept for the treatment. The pyramid used for the test was 6-inch base ventilated. What happened? The cups of food were then all mixed at random, so no one knew which food was which. Taste tests were conducted, and 10 out of 48 people chose the foods treated in the pyramid as being more to their liking. This was a good discovery for him, that there was 10 out of 48 people who chose the food treated in the pyramid as being more to their liking. The food tested were of all types: sweet, sour, various alcohols, fruits, and tobaccos. Bitter, and the food tasted then of every kind of types, so that there is no problem in understanding. The bitter and sour foods lost their bitterness, they become milder. This was the impact on the food. Sweet foods become more sweetened. Coffee loses its bitterness and tastes as if it was acid free. Fruits increased in their qualities. Acid tasting pineapple loses its acidic taste and becomes as sweet as fresh ripe pineapple picked right out of the field. Tobacco lost its harshness and became milder. Can you imagine this? Can this happen? You can try. The banana and the other perishables keep longer if they are treated in the pyramid for half an hour after they are purchased. So you can do this, of course, if you purchase some perishables or any kind of fruits, keep them inside a pyramid for half hour. They will go longer. Controls all turned bad in a short time, and the fruits treated in pyramids kept fresh up at twice as long as the controls. Cut flowers take a longer to die if they are placed in pyramid treated water. Okay. This is something we should at least try for ourselves. He has done these researches. Dr. Patrick has done these researches, and after him also various people have done these researches. Even Brahmarishi Pitama Patri sir has done these kind of researches. He has kept a brinjal inside a pyramid, and and one pyramid outside and one brinjal outside a pyramid, and he found something very dramatic, that the brinjal outside the pyramid was totally putrefied, but inside the pyramid it was fresh. He made he made a dish of that brinjal, and it was really very tasty. So you can also use it, and it can help us in reducing the wastage of food. So I will be ending this session with this beautiful message of Brahmarishi Pitama Patriji, that we must understand that we are a soul, and this is called enlightenment. Enlightenment is something that we have to understand the fact that we are a soul and not this physical body. We came here for our getting experiences, for learning, and for our soul development. With the help of pyramid, with the help of Ayurveda, with the help of quantum, we will find our way to the bliss, to the enlightenment. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all of the viewers for getting being connected with us. If you have any query, you can ask us in the comment section of the YouTube video. And with this, I would like to thank all the PMC channels, PSSM, PMC Haryanvi, PMC USA, PMC UK, Pyramid Health Channel, Malaysia, Mahadrashtra Trust, PMC Global, for giving us this opportunity to present ourselves in front of you. We will meet next week, same time, same place. Till then, Namo Namah. This is Dr. Khyati signing off from India.